My name's Kelsey, and I'm living tiny on my off grid farm. Many of you have asked me what it's like living in a tiny house, and specifically on the farm, so I figured I'd take you along in the day of a life of a Kelsey. It's winter, so I have time to wake up slowly in my cozy loft before making my way down to the main floor. I do have a full kitchen in my tiny house, and I love making French press coffee. So typically mornings start with me boiling my water so I can start brewing my coffee. Now is the time for coffee. I remember when I used to live in the city, I'd get up every morning and I'd have to have this almost like a rush in order to create this space to have this time to have coffee. And it's kind of like that hurry up and wait mentality, and it's not good. It's not good for people. So one of the things I really love about living out here on the farm and in my tiny house is just everything is simple. It's slow, and I can just take it step by step. Obviously, there's different times during the season when I can't do that, but for now it's winter time and it's just a much slower season. So I really enjoy having my morning routine of just waking up slow and making my French press coffee and having a cup of coffee. And before I start the day, just having that stillness and that calmness it's good. I don't know if you guys have a routine or if you can have the space to do something like this, but I just really love sitting here in my little kitchen looking out the window. I actually designed the tiny house so that I had as much light and as large windows as possible, because I knew that winter time would be dark and I want to capture as much light as possible. I guess I was nervous about it feeling really small in here, and it does not feel small at all. Like, if it wasn't COVID, I would be happy to have 2 or 3 friends over for dinner and we could hang out and enjoy a meal. So I guess that's for next year. Can't really quite do that for COVID right now. But back to designing this to make sure that I had the windows where I wanted them to be so that I could capture the views that I wanted to have every morning. Because I had a general idea of where the tiny was going to go and how it was going to be situated. Basically, I have this big window behind me that looks into my backyard, which I have my beehive in. I can show you that in another video. It's very beautiful. It's called the Sun Hive. You can find it on my Instagram and my website if you're unfamiliar with it. It's basically like a piece of art that's functional as a home for honeybees. Anyway, so I look out into that with all the windows on the back side of my house because I really wanted to be able to see that. And then mirroring this window behind me, I can't flip my camera right now, but I can show you later, is a bigger window that kind of just looks out onto my fields. So it gives me a visual of the greenhouse, my fields, my studio, and I love it. I don't have to look at my neighbors. I get really great sunsets. Yeah, doesn't stink at all. Tiny living means that things get messy quickly, so I tend to clean things up as I go. Okay, now that I've done dishes, I've run out of water. So here we go. I don't have plumbing like a regular house does in my tiny house. I mean, I do have plumbing and pipes and everything, but I have a water tank that stores everything. And so that's just a limited amount. So basically when it runs out, I need to fill up. I try not to ever let it run out because that's not good for the pump. There's the tiny. Anyway, so how I do this is I have hoses and I run a hose from the hydrant to the tiny and I fill it up. So what's a day in the life on a farm without helping a neighbor, you know? Now that I got all my chores done for today, I decided I'm going to go help a friend with a forestry project. They are working with the USDA and got a grant for a forestry project where they're taking down a lot of junk trees and gonna replant with better trees. And it's just a lot of work. I don't know if anyone one's ever taken down a tree. But there's a lot to it. So I'm really happy that I have the skills to help in this and to kind of help speed up their process. I think forestry is something that a lot of people overlook the importance and significance of it, and we really need our woods. We really need that ecosystem. Animals need it, and it's very neglected. A lot of people don't really want to manage it, or they don't know how. You need tools, you need time, you need strength, and they're working towards getting to kind of like a reset area where they can get on the right track and maintain it as a generational project, which I think is really great. If I think of it, I'll do a little video there. This is my friend Tacy. She owns and operates a flower farm in the area. She and her husband found this original farmstead a while back and have been bringing it back to life. The farm is over 80 acres of mixed pasture, woods, and wetland. They're working at establishing a trail system so their family can enjoy the farm more extensively. Today we were clearing trees for the trail system. I prefer working in pairs for this kind of work as a safety precaution. We were able to move many dangerous trees and secure firewood for winter. Clearly this was a productive day of women's work. Okay, I'm back from working. I'm hungry. I'm gonna make some food. So the obvious thing to do is to go look in your refrigerator. Just kidding, not looking in a refrigerator. I'm going into my greenhouse. So it is December. It's December 9th today, I think. And we haven't had like major frosts or really huge cold snaps yet, so I've just been riding this out and trying to see how long I can harvest in my greenhouse. And it's not heated or anything. I don't even have end walls, but what I do is I have this covering that I cover everything with, and it kind of heats it up. So this special fabric that I put on top can heat it about 4 degrees, and then the greenhouse itself definitely creates a warmer space, and the things that I grow in here can easily get down to 20 degrees. So even when we had some super cold snaps when it was like 9 degrees outside, apparently it didn't really get much below 20 in here. So I'm still able to be harvesting from my greenhouse right now. So today I have bok choy, I have some mizuna, I'm assuming there's some spinach left, and I'm gonna go check out and see if I have any salad greens. And I do! Look at that. Look at that. There you have it. I still have fresh lettuce in the greenhouse. It's the 9th. December 9th. So that's cool. I could be eating still from my own soil, from my own seeds. Obviously this feels even better this year in times of COVID, because going to the store doesn't feel safe. Also, it helps me save my dollars, and I can feed myself instead of have to go buy food. But don't get me wrong, I love supporting my neighbors, buying their greens, and seeing what they've got as well. I'm very fortunate to live in a place where I have neighbors that are producing food year-round and other ones that are able to save food year-round, and they keep it in the root cellar. So when it gets too cold in here for me to be eating fresh greens, then I will start supporting them. Welcome to Cooking with Kelsey. No, I'm just kidding. So I was out in the greenhouse. I harvested some food. I love doing this. Saves me a lot on resources, but also the qualitative aspect of growing your own food and enjoying that. So what I'm gonna make today is, let's see here, boop, ta-da, this is bok choy. So I used to live in China, and it's funny, I had a woman that taught me how to speak Mandarin, and eventually I just didn't really want to learn Mandarin anymore. I wanted to learn how to cook Chinese food, and so this was one of the things that she taught me how to make, and I really love it. So if you're not familiar with bok choy, it's in the brassica family, so the same family as cabbage, broccoli, kale. So it's really hearty, it's really good for you, and I grow it because it's a great thing to grow in the cold season. So that's like in the spring or the fall, and it's not quite as happy in the warmer months. But basically I seeded this in August, and once it reaches maturity, because the light is so low right now and the temperatures are also low, it kind of reaches this threshold where it sits in the field and it acts as a refrigerator. But because it has roots in the ground, it can really stay fresh for quite a long time. So I've been able to harvest this for a couple of months now, and I'm hoping that I can just keep harvesting it. It's really delicious for you. It's really delicious. It's really healthy for you. This is a purple one that I like to grow. And what I'm going to do is I have my my pan here. I have some water in it that I'm going to heat up, and what I'm going to do is essentially just drop these leaves into the boiling water, and it's just going to cook it down. So I'm basically steaming it. And then I make a little sauce with garlic, ginger, sesame oil, and soy sauce, and I just drizzle that over it. And then of course I have a little bit of my leftover rice and tofu. I'm not a huge tofu fan. I don't know if you guys are or not, but before deer season I was concerned about having various protein sources to get me through winter, or like a variety of them. I'm not like a protein freak or anything, but I do have all kinds of different beans and legumes and things like that. But sometimes you just get bored of that, and so I was looking for something new, and I'm not a big meat eater because of the ethics behind that, which I can go to in a completely different video. Essentially, if I can't raise it, see it being raised, or put my hands on it when it's alive, like I don't want to eat it. So I've taken up hunting. So I ended up getting a deer, so I've been having a lot of venison kind of sprinkled in my meals lately, but I'm trying to eat up the last of the tofu, and it's kind of trying. I'm not really into tofu so much. So if you have any good recipes or suggestions, send word. I'm gonna finish eating the rest of this today. Maybe I'll show you the finished product. Maybe I won't.
All right. There it is. It was so delicious.
Well, there it was, day in the life of a Kelsey on a farm living tiny. If you have questions, comments, concerns, anything, drop them below. Let me know what you think.